All right, everybody, this is the Boston Celtics newsfeed. We are Celtics Roundtable, powered by CLNS Media. Matt Ignal here. I'm joined by Celtics Hub and Roundtable panelist. He's a cap expert at Sam Sheehan. And we are also joined by one of our favorite guests. He assured me about a month ago that the Celtics were definitely going to take Markelle Fultz. He writes for Sporting News, Vice Sports, is host of the KYRIE basketball podcast. It's Sam Vecenie. So, Sam, I can't blame you. No one saw this trade coming. You know, as we look back at what the Celtics did in this 2017 NBA draft, I'll ask you point blank, do you like what the Celtics did?
Oh, I love what the Celtics did on draft night. I still would have just taken Markelle Fultz at number one, and this comes from someone who has Jayson Tatum number 2 on his board. Like, I love Jayson Tatum. I totally understand why Danny Ainge loves him, why the rest of that front office loves him. To me, Markelle Fultz is the best talent in this draft. I would have just taken him. I would have taken the bird in the hand. I understand what Danny Ainge did. He took my number 2 player at number 3. That's good. He picked up another asset. And then finally, they end up with my number 19 player on my board, Shimi Ojale, at number 37, which is a really important aspect of all of this as well, right? Everyone talks about what the Celtics are going to do this offseason, who they're going to acquire, who they're going to, go after and everything. Getting Shimi Ojale is going to make it easier for them to get rid of Jay Crowder down the road because they're very similar talents in terms of being able to switch defensively, guard multiple positions, play versatile basketball, and knock down shots.
Okay, let's get to Tatum here. We've had a diversity of opinions about Jayson Tatum on this show. Some people don't like him so much. Other people are pretty high on him. You, like you said, you had him number 2, and we had you on a couple months ago talking about how you were very willing to bet on Jayson Tatum's personality. Can you just give our listeners and viewers, can you inspire that confidence in them, I guess?
Yeah, look, I mean, Jayson Tatum is elite in terms of character. No NBA team is concerned about him doing the wrong things off the floor. No NBA team is concerned about him reaching his ceiling at some point. He is an incredibly hard worker on his game. You can watch all of the videos online that Drew Hanlon posts about what Jayson Tatum does, his trainer. So, Jayson is going to get the absolute most out of his ceiling or out of his, potential, whatever that may be, I think. The question with Jayson for a lot of people is he is a 6'8", non-elite level athlete who is very dependent right now on mid-range jumpers with the way that he creates his shot. That's a scary proposition for the modern NBA, I guess. You know what I mean? Where everyone is concerned about threes and shots at the rim. And Jayson right now, he shot 34% from 3 this year and struggles occasionally to finish around the rim. I think that both of those things are going to get better as he continues to age and mature and grow stronger and, just physically improve upon his game. I understand the concern, at least. My thing is he gets great separation as a shooter. He is going to be able to create his own shot in the NBA, and that's a really, really valuable skill for, wing players in today's game. It's maybe the most difficult skill to find, really. So I'm a big believer in Jayson Tatum. Like I said, he would have been my number 2 player. If I was the Lakers, I would have taken him. If I was Boston, I would have taken him. Ultimately, we'll see whether or not he ends up being Markelle Fultz, but I would guess that he probably does not end up hitting that ceiling, but I like him overall. He's an awesome player.
Sam, so I'm one of the skeptics on Jayson Tatum and some of the other people might be concerned. As you mentioned, you diagnosed it kind of perfectly what a lot of my hang-ups are about him. So sort of almost independent from the the mid-range game and where the shots are, is that he also just didn't score that efficiently in college. What could you tell me to maybe make me feel a little bit better about him maybe not scoring efficiently or at an elite level in college and how he's going to get there in the NBA where everyone's bigger, stronger, and faster?
So yeah, I can actually help you out a lot there.
Okay.
So Jayson Tatum suffered a foot sprain. I want to say 2 weeks before the college basketball season. That kind of sapped his explosiveness a little bit, and foot injuries make it really difficult to knock down shots from three. It's just difficult to get the kind of explosion up through your lower half that you're used to when shooting from distance, and obviously when trying to get to the rim, right? That makes it very difficult. If you look at his last 13 games, all against exceedingly high-level competition, right? Like the last 6 or 7 games of ACC play, the 3 or 4 games they played in the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament games, he shot, I think he averaged 19, 8, and 3, shot 39% from 3, and had a 63% true shooting percentage. I think those are really strong indicators that, health was a factor. Obviously, you run into a small sample size there, right? You're talking about a sample of 13 games. We don't know this for sure. But I think there's something to the idea that early on in the season, he was not quite as healthy as he needed to be early on. And you could see it later on in the year. He got, a little bit more explosive. He was creating shots a little bit easier. He was knocking down shots easier from distance. So I think he's going to be okay shooting the basketball. I do. I totally understand what the concerns are. Trust me. I think that, those are rightful concerns, given the fact that he has now 1 year of sample shooting 34% from three or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. Having said that, I believe in the smaller sample of him, shooting the basketball, just given how hard he works at his game and given how I don't think he's going to stop until he is a good shooter.
I want to tell you all about HelloFresh, the meal kit delivery service that makes cooking more fun so you can focus on the whole experience and not just the final plate. Each week, HelloFresh creates new delicious recipes with step-by-step instructions designed to take around 30 minutes so that everyone from novices to seasoned home cooks short on time can make tasty meals. HelloFresh sources the freshest ingredients measured to the exact quantities needed so there's no food waste, and they employ 2 full-time registered dietitians on staff who review each recipe to ensure it is nutritionally balanced. They deliver food to your doorstep in a recyclable, insulated box for free, and they are now offering light spring meals and have just introduced breakfast options. Now, the loyal listeners of CLNS Media will get a very special offer. Get this, because you are a loyal listener to the Boston Celtics newsfeed. Use the promo code BEAT30 for $30 off your first week of HelloFresh. Again, support the Celtics Roundtable and try HelloFresh for free. Simply visit HelloFresh.com and enter the promo code BEAT30. Okay, now back to the Roundtable. He is a scorer. That's what he does. That's why the Celtics drafted him. That's what they're expecting him to bring in the long run. The big question is, he could get up volume. Can he really get to that efficiency? Like the new benchmark, I guess, for efficiency for elite scorers in the NBA might be something like 60% true shooting. So, like we've been saying, you can't get there just doing mid-range stuff unless you're like Kawhi Leonard or something like that. And he's not brilliant around the rim or anything like that. I mean, we'd like to see maybe he can improve his free throw rate. But like we've been saying, he's going to have to really shoot the ball well from three. And we saw over the summer, I think Drew Hanlon posted a video of Jayson Tatum changing up his shot form a little bit. He's not quite, it doesn't quite look like Carmelo Anthony's quite yet, but it looks like instead of that two motion that he showed in college, and we actually had Cole Zwicker on a few days ago talking about how he didn't think his shooting form was necessarily translatable to the NBA. But we saw him working to change it up a bit, and that's something I can definitely appreciate. And then on Friday that we heard, and you have to take these sort of things with a grain of salt, but Danny Ainge said he basically shot the ball just about as well as anyone had working out for the Celtics in the last few years.
Tatum, the two-motion jump shot is definitely a concern, but as long as he can get that a little bit more fluid, I think it's going to be fine in the NBA.
I'm saying, what do you got? You got anything?
Well, yeah, I mean, I had another question for Sam too. What I'm a little bit concerned about, I guess, is does Jayson Tatum, if Sam, I don't know if you think, do you think Jayson Tatum has the quickness to sort of, because I'm kind of guessing he's going to be on that weak side second big assignment on defense, which kind of requires a lot of, you got to be quick. You got to be able to get out on shooters. You got to be there to rotate in from the weak side on the big roll man and then pop back out after the collapse. And, there's just a lot of – you got to be able to move around the perimeter while also bodying up guys. And I worry –
a lot of it's read and react.
You're right, exactly. And, I mean, because I totally agree that he's an elite character kid. I know he's going to put in the work to, get his reads down. I'm more worried about physically, is he going to be able to – sort of change the speeds. Like we see, I think Jay Crowder is really underrated in sort of the work he does off the ball. Getting some of that stuff, and exactly. He's smart, but you also need to reacting well, and you got to have the quickness to sort of change direction, to pop into the paint, to help pop back out. Do you think Jayson Tatum will? Yeah, exactly. You go ahead. Yeah,
so what you're talking about right now is kind of why I didn't fall in love with Thon Maker last year, right? Mm-hmm. So he's a ridiculously intelligent kid. If you talk to him, super, super high level character, super high level kid, incredibly hard worker. My problems with him on the floor were I didn't think that he reacted. He diagnosed the play with what was happening. He was always a split second late reacting on the floor to what was happening. And that, I think, is ultimately what made me miss on Thon Maker, because he has kind of ironed out that portion of his game. He has figured out how to react a little bit quicker on the basketball floor. Getting to Tatum now, I am similarly concerned, I would say, to you. I think that he is not going to be like a super plus defender. He is not going to be like Jay Crowder. Like Jay Crowder is one of the 15 to 20 best defensive wings in the NBA, right. Something like that. Like he's not going to be Jay Crowder. He is going to be switchable, which is good. Like you can against all but the hyper elite athletes in the NBA, right? I think you're going to be able to put him on an island, and he'll probably be able to deal with them. As he gets a little bit stronger throughout his lower body, I think that you're going to be able to put him on maybe not true bigs, but with centers like Thon Maker, for instance. He's just he's late often, and That's a little bit scary to me. I think you hit the nail on the head, though. Ultimately, a lot of it is just physical tools and size, though. Like he does have lateral quickness. He does have 6'8" height with a 7-foot wingspan. Yeah, and that makes up for a lot whenever you have really, really good feet, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Brad Stevens said he could guard 1 through 4, and that didn't pass the smell test for me personally.
I think that in a switch scenario for a couple of dribbles, he might be okay. I think that might be where Brad's coming from. But yeah, he's not going to be able to sit down and defend Russ, or sit down and slide with John Wall or anything like that.
Sure. So but Jayson Tatum is a scorer. I think that's where we think that if he does reach his ceiling, he's going to bring most of his value by bringing that volume scoring that we all expect, as well as efficiency. And the Celtics are clearly betting on Jayson Tatum to be a star. The number 3 pick is probably going to be worth more than Jayson Tatum a year from now. Jayson Tatum's value probably is going to go down with the amount of minutes he's playing, unless he really reaches that potential real quick.
It's a new car.
Exactly, yeah. So the Celtics are really betting on him to be a star, because all these potential trades come up. The Porzingis rumors, we don't know how real those were. They probably weren't all that real.
They were asking for quite a bit. Exactly. I will tell you, having actually talked to teams that were negotiating with them, they were asking for way more than any team was going to give them.
Sure. And, the Celtics want to be in a position where they can make, a mega trade like that, be it for Porzingis or, cross your fingers, Anthony Davis down the road. So, going ahead and selecting Tatum, that's fundamentally a bet on Tatum. We all agree. And, the hope is that he can reach his ceiling, and the Celtics kind of really need him to do that in order, for him to make your trade chip down the road, or be a really valuable contributor who could, give you even surplus value on a max deal. 35-36%, that's nice. The Celtics really need him to, hit 40% when he's hitting his prime, to be shooting the 3 ball at a really high level. To me, I think that's sort of where I'm seeing Jayson Tatum's ceiling as being. Sam, where do you see things, and what is Jayson Tatum's ceiling, I guess, is what I'm asking here.
Look, yeah, he can be a 20 to 25 point per game scorer who I think can shoot at a 59 to 60 true shooting percentage, right?
I'll take that.
That's really good. That's a long ways away, right? That takes some time. He's really going to have to develop his, I don't even want to say ability to shoot off the dribble, because he does that really, really well for someone his age. the difference between someone who does it really, really well at their age at 19 and the difference like between Kawhi Leonard, who does it, is immense, right? Like, he needs to get to the point where he is just an unbelievable shooter off the dribble. If that happens, I think that there's a chance for it. Like, I think that he can get there. He has the tools to do it. At this age, what he has shown so far is exceedingly high level. But it's all how it goes from here, and that's why I ultimately end up being someone who buys into him, because of the fact that he has the tools at a young age that you really hope for, as well as the fact that he is a high-level, high-character, high-work-ethic kid that I think is going to get the most out of his skill set.
We want to thank Celtics Hub Cap Expert Sam Sheehan for joining us today, as well as Sam Vecenie. He writes for Vice Sports Sporting News Game Theory podcast. I recommend you all check that out. And you can find us. We're here on the Boston Celtics newsfeed, available on your favorite podcast app or by downloading the CLNS Radio mobile app. If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Follow on Twitter at CLNS Roundtable. A 5-star review on iTunes. Give us a review. Really helps us out. So we want to thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.